Three freshman members of the Gators basketball team on my far left, guard Andrew Nemhard. In the middle, the man in the middle, Noah Locke, and Kevontae Johnson close to me. This time we take questions. Please raise your hand. Standing up on the left side.
Hi, Kevin Wells, WCJB, Gainesville. Keontae, a lot more inside presence lately than earlier in the season. You guys hit only 5 threes last night, but still had a lot of points in the paint. What do you attribute that to?
We just try to go inside first and then at least go out and hit threes. But Kavaris was getting a lot of offensive rebounds and getting putbacks and fouls. So I feel like he was a big part to the inside paint.
Zach Oliveri, WFT Sports Gainesville. Andrew, you guys have a tough task against Michigan coming up. What's the mindset of you guys heading into this matchup?
The mindset for us is just locking on their personnel. We know they're really good offensively and defensively. So we just have to lock in on our personnel and know their sets, know what they're trying to do. I know they got a lot of shooters, so trying to make them bounce, make them score twos. And then offensively, just be sound with the ball, limit turnovers, for sure.
Third row on the left.
Brian Bush, Michigan Radio. For you guys, all freshmen, what was it like your first NCAA tournament experience? Was it what you expected, and have you kind of gotten used to the glitz and the glamour of it?
We're going to start with Andrew, work our way down.
Yeah, I think it was what we expected. SEC tournament, I think, was a good preparation for us. Quite similar to this tournament. A lot of hype, a lot of media around. I think we handled it well.
Just like what he said, I feel like the SEC tournament was probably a good preparation for us. It's a lot of media, much more media than SEC, but I feel like we were pretty much prepared for it.
I also feel the same about the SEC tournament. We played a lot of big games, so I just try to treat every game like a regular game and not think about that we're in a tournament. Just try to play as hard as I can.
On the aisle.
You know, there was a moment yesterday in which things could have really crumbled as the lead got whittled down and down and down. Who was the most important, whether that was coach or whether that was someone in a huddle and a timeout, who was there to kind of emotionally keep things calm, when there really would have been a chance for everybody to get really rattled?
I'd say Andrew. He was keeping everybody in check and trying to keep everybody good. So we weren't we had been in these moments before when teams make a run at the last minute. So Andrew was telling everybody, we good, just next play and do our thing. So and we just took it and we got the win.
No, you have it.
I was just trying to stay together, but a lot of guys on the bench were preaching the same as me, so it wasn't just me. Everybody on the team came together. Sure.
We got a question on the right side.
Guys, Big Ten, SEC, both really tough conferences. When you look at Michigan on tape, do they do anything different than some of the better teams in the SEC, or they just look like one of the better teams you played this year?
We're going to start with Andrew, work our way.
I think they're probably the most overall, probably the best overall team we played all year with a high offensive and defensive efficiency. I think they're a little bit different, and they play probably a slower pace than some of the fast SEC teams. And the size is a little bit different than some of the SEC teams. But I'm not sure that would change our approach or anything for us.
I feel like they're probably one of the best shooting three-point teams we're going to play. And they run a lot of sets too. We just went through a few of their sets, and it was a lot that we had to take in. But we can handle it. There's nothing we can't do.
I feel like they're a good three-pointer shooting team. I'll probably say they shoot really well. We look at the scout, and all their guards and bigs can shoot it. So I'll probably say they're like Auburn, but probably way better than them. Not way better, but just better overall on offense and the defense side.
Questions for our student athletes? It's a 20-minute session. We still have 12 minutes left here. Any other questions? There are no other questions. Back to the locker room. The locker room is open. for another 25 minutes. Thank you. Best luck, guys. Florida locker room is open until 3:50. We'll have Coach White here at 3:30. No. You know what? I could get somebody give me Florida notes.
You want them?
Yeah,
Right now?
if there's a runner that, yeah. Wish, yeah. Thanks a lot. What's that? Yeah. We just need to know which Michigan players are coming to the press conference. If you want to go down to the locker room, ask those guys. Okay, we got. Can you just give the numbers? What the stenographers need to know? Who?
Down there.
Oh, well, who are the live?
Rivers and Pool.
Pool. Where are you, Pool?
Right here.
Okay, so we're put close to me. Okay. Mike, 2 players from Michigan.
Unless
Thank
they make
you.
any changes, but that's what I got.
How much time we got here?
Okay. Got like 6 minutes maybe?
3:30 it starts? Is that right?
8 minutes.
8 minutes? Is that?
You good?
Florida locker room is still open for another 20 minutes. We're going to have Coach White up here very shortly. Again, the satellite coordinates, Galaxy 17/18K slot B. The downlink frequency 120.55.5 vertical. Tina? 2 and 4 for Michigan. 2 and 4. That's it. Number 2 and 4. Did a good meal last night?
Yeah.
That's good. Where'd you go?
Well, we had pizza delivered here to the locker room. It was terrific. It was really good. Killed that.
Okay, we're ready to begin our next session here. Pleasure to have with us Florida head coach Mike White. The Gators are seeking their 12th trip to the NCAA Sweet 16. This will be the third meeting in NCAA tournament history between Florida and Michigan. Game is scheduled for 4:15 tip-off. Without further ado, Coach, opening statement.
Thank you, Mike. Just excited to be here. Excited to play against a team and a program as prestigious as the Wolverines. Huge opportunity for us, huge challenge. A team that and a program that is as good offensively as most in the country year in and year out, and couple that with a team this year that is the #1 defensive efficiency team in the nation as well. So extremely well coached, prepared, tough, disciplined. It's going to be a very tough challenge for us, but we're excited about the opportunity.
This time we'll take questions for the coach. Left side, right side aisle, there you go.
Hey, Mike. Where did you think you saw Jalen Hudson maybe turn the corner from what was obviously a pretty struggling first half to first 2/3 of the season?
Chris, you could probably help me with this. I remember there was a press conference next door to the office when we talked about the fact that he had just come off his best 2 practices of the year, right? And it was, you could probably put your thumb on it quicker than I could, but we had planned on giving him more opportunity that next game, and I'm not sure he played great that next game, but he played. It might have been a road game, if I'm not mistaken, Chris. Could it have been at Alabama, maybe? I'm not sure, but it was about midway through the conference season, and so he earned more minutes. And in that game, he didn't play great, but he played really hard, and he played with a renewed level of intensity and urgency. And then it was either the following game, it was one of those next couple games where he broke through a little bit offensively. But from that point on, he brought it in practice every day and started. You could hear his voice more in practice and film sessions. Took more ownership. Started trying to help Kavaris Hayes lead a little bit. And he's probably become as valuable a scouting report guy as anybody on our team. He's very much locked in and day out. and really leading to this point where he was pretty vocal out there on the court in the practice that we just concluded. So just, you know, a different side to him about halfway through the conference season. He's been very good since. He's playing well.
Yeah, go ahead with your follow-up.
Do you think some of that has to do, you always talk about don't let defense bleed into offense, or do you think when he started making shots that kind of helped him maybe turn that corner even more so?
I don't know whether it was him making shots or the fact that he was really locked in and playing at an intensity level that allowed him to get more minutes, which allowed him to get more shots, and allowed him to score more. You know, it's like the chicken or the egg. You know, which one comes first? I mean, I don't know which one is a bigger factor, but I think it all correlates. You know, I know he's in a much better offensive rhythm than he was early in the year, and I know he's playing harder as well. And it's a really unique situation. It's a story, you know, of perseverance. You know, the adversity that Jalen Hudson had early in this season is very unique. I mean, the guy was a preseason National Player of the Year candidate. And so, I mean, I can't imagine what the things that were going on, you know, through his head, the things that he was struggling with. But he continued to remain positive and continued fighting, and here he is, you know, with a chance potentially to continue to advance, you know, in the NCAA tournament. So it was very important to him late in the year. He became pretty vocal, communicated with myself and our staff and our team that he really wanted to play in the NCAA tournament. That was very important to him, and so I'm happy for him.
Left side aisle.
I believe I saw you seated in one of the media rows for the first half of the Michigan game last night after the victory. And I guess I'm curious if there's anything that your eyes as a coach tell you when you watch your next opponent that tape
Sure.
might not.
First and foremost, the size of Teske, his size, their level of communication on the court, especially defensively, their attention to detail, their discipline, their skill level, the fact that they all pass, dribble, and shoot it. You know, you take a lot. I've seen these guys play so much on TV, and we all like watching Michigan play. And they're a little bit closer to us than most programs because of Darius Nichols and his background, having played for Coach Beilein. And we've studied them a lot on film, and like to think that we've learned a lot watching these guys. But in person, you know, I guess those would be the first things that stuck out. Probably, in addition, I would say the strength that, you know, some of these guys, especially Teske and Livers. I was very familiar with Ignis, having tried to recruit him, and you know, he's a big, strong kid as well.
Other questions for the coach?
As the lead was dwindling, you know, a little bit last night in the second half, what did you end up being most impressed by amongst your team of really finding whatever moment, whether that was huddle or even on floor or something, to just really, you know, plug the hole in the dam, so to speak? Who really stepped up in a way that they needed to?
Hayes tried to lead as he always has here, especially these last 2 or 3 months. This has become his team. Andrew Nembhard has become a great leader as a freshman, and his voice was heard often there throughout the second half, trying to pull guys together, you know, demanding the effort and poise from his teammates at timeouts. We never found a great defensive rhythm really until the last couple minutes of the game. So I would say overall, the fact that despite having a long scoring drought and having 2 or 3 shots, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you know, I've moved on to Michigan quickly, but just roll around the rim and couldn't find a way in for us to settle us in. Those, you know, the free throws and the field goals that we scored late in the game, you know, just the poise to keep plugging and convert those. You know, those, I guess those were most important, and those were what got us the win. So, you know, in press that we just kept plugging. Didn't allow, after we had a stretch there where we didn't value the ball at a very high level, but then late in the game, we slowed down a little bit. Even when we weren't getting stops, we slowed down and gave ourselves a chance, and then obviously converted it enough very late.
Still have 10 minutes left in this session. Other questions, please?
Is it as simple as consistency then that will be the big difference as if you're able to win tomorrow? I mean, because the starts to both halves last night were very strong.
Yeah.
But is it just a maybe a more balanced 40-minute effort? I mean, I hate to boil it down to something as simple as that, but that might be it.
Yeah, I don't know that we were inconsistent. I mean, obviously we were. I mean, but I don't know that it was us losing edge and intensity and focus as much as it was Nevada changing what they were doing and speeding us up. You know, we tried to control tempo, and I thought for the most part we did. We definitely did in the first 20 and then early second half. But when they started running and jumping at us and making us play faster, making us play downhill and making basketball plays by having two on the basketball, it just changed the entire outlook, you know, of the whole game. It changed. It changed the tempo. It changed our level of confidence, their level of confidence. So, you know, I think that was pretty unique. I don't know that we'll see any of that in tomorrow's game. But do we need to be consistent for 40 minutes to beat these guys? Absolutely. We're gonna have to play our best game of the year to beat Michigan. We're going to have to be consistent offensively, defensively, on the glass. We're going to have to play with great confidence and great focus.
Simpson's been a guy whose kind of passing has really helped kind of drive the motor for that offense, especially in the Big Ten tournament, carving apart zones. What's the best strategy for you guys defensively to kind of neutralize his passing and his playmaking ability?
Yeah, he's had a great year. He's more than 3-to-1, I believe, assist turnover ratio. Plays at a great tempo. He's tough with the basketball. He's strong. Again, they really space you out. They run great actions, and he's a guy with the ball in his hands a bunch who's, you know, responsible for, you know, the pass leading to the basket. But we've got to have great focus, of course, on him, and he demands that. But the guys that are finishing those passes are equally as important. We've got to be there on the catch with shooters. Our ball screen defense has got to be great. We've got to, you know, our base principles will be tested in terms of just simply staying in a stance and being alert and communicating, and all of those factors that help you succeed defensively.
Question in the back row, right side.
Coach, you mentioned Michigan's size. Nevada came at you with a lot of size too, yet you guys seemed to handle it. Was that a point of emphasis or concern heading into Nevada? Did you adjust for that? And are you going to try to do the same thing against Michigan, or do you just play your game?
Yeah, we're just going to be who we are. We've been undersized all year. Keystone went out with an ACL, and we had another 4-man transfer on us at Christmas, and Keontae Johnson became our 4-man by necessity. You know, he's not a 4-man. You know, he's a wing, and we don't really have another 4 off the bench. So Keontae's backups are guards as well. So this group's just become really, really scrappy, and they haven't made any excuses. They continue to battle, and you know we'll do so tomorrow. You know we've consistently played really hard, defended with intensity, fought, battled, haven't always made all the right plays, but defensively for the most part and on the glass, our guys give it their all, led by Kavarius Hayes. That said, I do think Nevada did hurt us with their size at times, especially in the offensive glass. I believe they had 19 offensive rebounds, if I'm not mistaken. size again will be key tomorrow. Hopefully we can neutralize it just with making big plays, with getting a few big two-handed rebounds, loose balls. Playing physical, but playing clean as well, especially on the interior.
We're under 4 minutes in this session here.
He said last night that he still isn't 100% healthy, but Charles Matthews certainly looked the part for the most part. Coach Beeline put him in for, I think 35, 36 minutes, which is a few minutes longer than the rest of his starters. Clearly, he's trying to build the endurance back up after the ankle injury. I mean, do you try, if there's even the slightest chance that he's not 100%, do you try to tire him out at all, or what are the perils of trying to do something like that? Just how problematic is he, no matter what his health is at?
Yeah, really good player. We're not going to concern ourselves at all with how healthy he is, how good he's feeling. He's a good offensive player, good defensive player, active, athletic. He's got a lot of experience. We're just, we're going to run our stuff and try to defend him at the highest level possible, but not. I can't imagine that's a big factor in the game.
Time for one more question. If not, wish you best luck tomorrow, Coach. Thank you very much
Thanks,
for your
guys.
time.